Hello friends, welcome to today's daily devotion. I'm reading to you from the Gospel of Luke, the 16th chapter, starting at verse 1 and reading through verse 12. Hear now these words. Then Jesus said to the disciples, "There was a rich man who had a manager, and charges were brought to him that this man had squandered his property. So he summoned him and said to him, 'What is this that I hear about you? Give me an accounting of your management, because you cannot be my manager any longer.' Then the manager said to himself, 'What will I do now that my master is taking the position away from me? I am not strong enough to dig, and I am too ashamed to beg. I have decided what to do so that when I am dismissed as manager, people may welcome me into their homes.' So summoning his master's debtors one by one, he asked the first, 'How much do you owe my master?' The man answered, 100 jugs of olive oil.' He said to him, 'Take your bill, sit down quickly, and make it 50. Then he asked another, 'And how much do you owe?' He replied, 100 containers of wheat.' He said to him, 'Take your bill and make it 80. And his master commended the dishonest manager because he had acted shrewdly. For the children of this age are more shrewd in dealing with their own generation than are the children of light. And I tell you, make friends of yourselves by means of dishonest wealth, so that when it is gone, they may welcome you into the eternal homes. Whoever is faithful in a very little is faithful also in much, and whoever is dishonest in a very little is dishonest also in much. If then you have not been faithful with the dishonest wealth, who will entrust you to your true riches? And if you have not been faithful for what belongs to another, who will give you what is your own?" This has always been a very strange story for me, to think about Jesus describing someone who is commended for being dishonest. This doesn't sound like Jesus. Isn't Jesus the one who always says, "I tell you the truth"? Well, we've got to unpack the story in order to understand Jesus' point about the story. For you see, Jesus is describing how dishonesty recognizes fellow dishonesty, and they will bond together. You see, this owner had heard reports that his manager was squandering the property. And so when he fires him, what does the manager do? He squanders his master's property in the hopes that he will be able to survive losing the job. In other words, deceit begat greater deceit. And I guess the owner is the one who had also accumulated his wealth through deceit. And Jesus says, if we can't be faithful with the things that we have here on this earth, then why would we think that God is going to make us faithful for the things that are above the earth? And so this shrewd manager and this property owner are both examples of what not to be. Jesus is saying we need to be faithful in the little things so that when the big things come, we can be trusted. So whatever little things you have going on today, prove yourself trustworthy, and big things will come. And I'll see you tomorrow for another daily devotion.